All right, so this weekend is WrestleMania. So I figured that this week I would make my predictions for what I think and what I would like to see happen at WrestleMania. Now, I tried to be as well. What I try to do is try to be as realistic as possible. Even though there's people that I want to, there's definitely matches where I'm like, I want this person to win. You can't have like all faces or all heels win. It doesn't work that way. Not all championships are going to change, if any. So I'm being as realistic as I can on this. So here we go. Night 1 of WrestleMania. The first match. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee are taking on Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. Now, I thought that this whole Dom and Rey thing was over with. I don't think it's ever going to be. And they've definitely, in this story, shown that there's some tension in Judgment Day with Dominic. But I do think that Rey and Dragon Lee are going to win this match. So that's my first prediction. Then we have the debut of Jade Cargill, which I've been looking forward to because I loved her in AEW. I'm glad that she's on the big stage now. She's teaming up with Naomi and Bianca Belair to take on Damage Control. Well, 3 of the members anyway, which would be Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. I want, and I do believe, that Jade and Naomi and Bianca will win this match. It is Jade's debut, so it would be great if she wins, and I do think she will. I mean, they did it years ago for Fandango when he made his WrestleMania debut, so I think fair is fair, right? But, I really do think that this Damage Control's, it's time for them to start losing. They've been doing so well lately. They've been a dominant team in the women's division. Of course, they're saying, "Oh, we're the most dominant female faction." Well, that's not saying much because there hasn't really been very many. Not any ones that are good anyway, and this is the best one so far. So, okay. And then in the next match, we got the 6-pack ladder undisputed tag team title match, which consists of the champions Finn Balor and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day. They are taking on DIY, Awesome Truth, The New Day, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. My prediction is going to be Awesome Truth. I think it's time for R-Truth to have a big moment at WrestleMania, for him to win another title. They had that 24/7 title, and that was kind of a joke, and he deserves better than that. And why else would you put the Awesome Truth back together if you didn't want them to be champions, at least? I know they're trying to build up a tag team division, and Triple H loves tag teams, and so do I, and I'm glad that they're kind of getting back to this, because Vince hated it. I don't know why. But, yeah, I do see Finn and Damian losing. And then, of course, Damian eventually cashing in his Money in the Bank and failing, as it has been rumored. That's going to happen at some point. And I do see the Judgment Day splitting up. They're not going to be around much longer. And this will probably be the beginning of it. And then, of course, you have the brothers, Jay and Jimmy Uso. Jay, 100%. I mean, they've been building him up. And Jimmy doesn't really do anything. I think Jay, and he's clearly the star of the two. So I'm definitely rooting for Jay, and I'm being realistic, and I think they are gonna have him win, and it's not, yeah. So, and anyway, Intercontinental title on the line next, Gunther and Sami Zayn. I do not see Sami Zayn winning. It's just Gunther, he's been champ for almost 2 years now, and he's still dominant, and I think he's a big star for WWE, and I do think he should keep it for a little bit longer. If he can have it for exactly 2 years, that would be great. Hopefully, his record as the longest reigning champ stays, because I really like Gunther. He's great. I like Sami Zayn too, and yeah, Sami Zayn I would be rooting for, but I think that Gunther's going to win it. He's going to retain. Then you got the women's title match, women's world title match, I should say. Champion Rhea Ripley defending against Becky Lynch. I want Becky to win, but I think Rhea's going to win this one. Although, since I think Judgment Day is going to be not around much longer, her losing would add to that, and I can definitely see that happening. Rooting for Becky, but I think Rhea is going to keep it. And then, of course, our main event, Cody Rhodes and the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins are going up against Roman Reigns and the Stupid Rock. So I think you know now who I think is going to win this one, and who I'm being very biased here. I think Seth and Cody win this one, so that there's no bloodline on night 2 during the world title match. Although it could go the other way, and I do like Triple H's. I generally like Triple H's booking decisions, but I think that I think he's going to disappoint us. So that's a little hint for what I think is going to happen in the main event in night 2. So here we go with night 2. The 6-man Philadelphia street fight. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits are taking on the Final Testament. It's time for Lashley and the Street Profits to win, because Final Testament's kind of been dominating them. So they deserve this big WrestleMania moment. I think they're going to get it. That 6-pack challenge for the tag titles, I originally thought it was picking DIY, but then I think about it, and obviously I picked the Awesome Truth there. And then we have AJ Styles versus LA Knight, who I do think LA Knight's going to win this one. I think it's time for AJ to retire. I love AJ Styles. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, but it's time, and they need to do something with LA Knight. Stop screwing them. But again, Triple H could also disappoint us, because he did last year. So, I don't know. And you got the triple threat match for the United States title. Logan Paul defending against Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. Logan Paul, I believe, will retain, because they're going to Cleveland in August for SummerSlam. Logan Paul's from Cleveland. Originally, it was supposed to be him versus LA Knight, and that was going to happen. Of course I was going to pick LA Knight to win, but because that's not happening, I think Logan's going to retain. I can't stand the guy, but that's probably what's going to happen. And then you got the women's title match, Io Sky versus Bayley. Bayley is going to win. I'm picking her because she won the Women's Royal Rumble. I like Bayley, and because the way they're telling the story, I think she's going to win and go over. And I think Damage Control is going to have a terrible WrestleMania this year. I just see that happening. Then you got the World Heavyweight title match. Seth Rollins defending against Drew McIntyre with CM Punk on commentary. Drew McIntyre is going to win. He won it in 2020 at WrestleMania, but there were no fans in attendance because COVID. And he deserves to win one in front of the fans. And I did hear back then that when they got fans again, they were going to have Drew win it in front of the fans, and he did win a second WWE Championship, but not at WrestleMania. So it needs to happen at WrestleMania. That's why I think it's going to happen. And Seth's been champ for like 9-10 months. He's had some issues with his leg, so I think that he's going to take some time off. He should. Do whatever he's got to do to get better so he can come back at 200%. And then, build towards a match between Drew and McIntyre at SummerSlam, which I think is the plan. And then finally, our undisputed WWE Universal title match between the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes. Now, I was initially picking Cody Rhodes because it makes sense. But because I'm starting to become a little distrustful of Triple H's booking, and they disappointed us last year, and they keep disappointing us. Roman's had this belt long enough. He should lose this belt. It is not going to happen. Even though I think that him and The Rock are going to win on night one, The Rock's the final boss. He's on the board of directors. He thinks he is in charge of everybody. Even though it's not going to be bloodline rules, no bloodline, he's still going to come out and cheat. So they can build towards Cody versus The Rock. And I cannot stand The Rock anymore. I used to love him back in the day. He was great. And I loved it when he came back. But then he left again. And he went and did the whole Hollywood thing. And I hate Hollywood. And I loved him as a wrestler. And I didn't want him to leave and go do that. And he did. But when he came back, I'm like, oh, great, he's back. And he said he promised he would never leave us again. But he left us again. And I'm also starting to not like him as a person. And so, yeah, this is going to happen. It's going to piss me and everybody else off when Roman wins. But that's what's going to happen. They want to surpass Hulk Hogan, even though it makes no sense because the Universal title isn't that old. And what Hogan had was the WWE title. Roman already has the longest reign of the Universal with the Universal title. It's the longest reign that belt's had is with Roman Reigns. So he's already made a record. Why do you need to go and have him surpass Hulk Hogan for the WWE? Which, yeah, he has. His title is an undisputed title, so it's combined with the WWE. But they basically got rid of the WWE title, so that hasn't existed in the last year or two, or whatever it was when he beat Brock. Was that 2 years ago? It makes no sense. But with some of Vince's lackeys still hanging around, and Triple H being the son-in-law, Vince, even though he's not in WWE anymore and doesn't own it, he still has an influence. So his terrible booking, you can still kind of see it. But then you can also see Triple H's great booking. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, sorry to have to tell everybody this. I think you are all, and me, we're all going to be disappointed. Roman Reigns is going to retain, and probably keep it till next year WrestleMania because they want Roman Reigns versus The Rock. And it has to be a world title match. So he's going to keep it for another year, at least. And watch The Rock win the title. You need someone big to win that belt, and yeah, he's a big star. But you need someone new and up-and-coming that all the fans like, that's a big popular star for the WWE. Not these old farts, these old dinosaurs who just want to come back to relive their glory days. So, what the hell, WWE? But it's going to happen. Now, I still watch WWE despite that, because I do like Roman Reigns. And so, but I just think he should lose that belt by now. He's had it too long. He's had it long enough. Give it to someone else. We'll see. But those are just my predictions. I would like to know yours in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why? Why not? And, yeah. Enjoy the show this weekend. I know I will. Until next time, you all take care of yourselves. Be happy. And I'll talk to you later.